God. Okay, so I wanted to start out with Jesus actually talking about like his crucifixion and things. Because in all of the prayers that we say during the day and stuff, I feel like that aspect or like that mystery, the crucifixion, kind of gets swept under the rug a little bit. Like that is what God did for us. Like he did it. Greater love than that no man hath, and to lay down his life for his friends. And I feel like that's what I kind of want to talk about today. Because think about it this way. The people in like World War II, World War I, things like that. There were some people that literally, like, somebody would throw a grenade, it's a grenade, and they would like jump on it to save more people. So we picture in our minds like that, like laying down your life for someone else. Guys, is this lighting okay? I feel like this lighting is horrible, and it usually is. Don't mind my hair, I just took a shower. A shower. But yeah, so these like war people laid on their lives for friends, for, us, and we live in peace now, at least in the USA. So I wanted to talk about that though. Like Jesus literally laid his life down for us. And if you want to like picture what it was like, just think about like his passion and what he went through, like the agony in the garden, where like he's just not scared, but like really anxious, or whatever the word is, about what's going to happen to him. He has this anxiety, not like a weird anxiety, but he's just like so like he knows exactly what's going to happen to him. So anyway, so that's like the agony in the garden. And then he gets scourged at this pillar. And as a kid, like I always thought the scourging at the pillar was like something like obviously something hard and something painful. But I always thought it was like if somebody took like a rake and like raked your back and maybe got some scratches on it. And it's like, no, it's actually the complete opposite. So it's like these little prongs, and I've talked about this before, but they catch on your skin. And when you pull it, it pulls your skin off. And that's how, in those days, there was a thing called scourging, I think it's scourging, that they had done. And this would eliminate all their skin to where they would bleed and die the death of that. Now, Jesus did not. So we can just feel his pain. And then he was crowned with thorns. So like we can imagine like a crown of thorns just nudged into your head. They mocked him. He's definitely broken. But they mocked him. They spit upon him. They buffeted him, which is like punching sort of. They did all these horrible things to Jesus, who is God. But what did Jesus say in the Bible? I forget where this is, but he's like, God is not mocked. God is not mocked. What you sow, you will reap. Meaning like whoever sows in evil will reap hell and stuff like that. So anyway, so when he was crowned with thorns, the soldiers were really rude with it. Like they gouged him into his head and, and he was bleeding and everything. And then he carried the cross, and we can't imagine Jesus as like this wimp, like carrying the cross, and not wimp, like somebody who's just like really weak. Jesus was built, like he was God, like made man. So he was built, and he worked as a carpenter. He knew how to like pick up tables and different things. So we need to imagine that, or think about how Jesus is just very strong. So when he went to carry the cross, obviously the cross was he was like half dead, and you know what I mean? So he carries this cross, and I want to leave you guys with this, this meditation I had that it's hard to even talk about, but as he's coming up the last hill to Calvary, he's just, fatigued, and he just looks up and he sees the cross where he's supposed to die for you and I. And he smiles because he knows the redemption is at hand. So just because we're going into Christmas, and, I just want to talk about Jesus because he's the reason for Christmas. And one of my friends' posts on Facebook was like, Jesus is the reason for the season, but he's also the reason for every other season too. And I was like, huh. And I didn't steal it. I probably should have. But it's true. Like, Jesus is there for us. He's the reason for all the seasons. And I heard that Washington is like getting flooded, the state Washington. So I think we need to pray a little bit for them. Not a little bit, but a lot. But keep them in your prayers. That's very devastating. It's horrible when, you're in the 21st century and there's still floods happening. And but you have to remember that God is in control, and no lives, like he knows what's going on, and he will bring about what he wants to bring about. But he also listens to prayer. And speaking of this, guys, how is the lighting? This is so weird. I feel like the lighting's not like contrasting, right? Today is December 12th, 2025, Friday, if you want to know. But it's also the feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe. For those of you who do not know who that is, she is the Blessed Mother that appeared in Guadalupe, Mexico. I think it was in like the 1500s, I believe. But she showed him the miracle. Okay, so I could tell you the story real quick. I'm trying to remember it. There was this guy, he was Mexican. His name was Juan Diego, which was like John or something in Mexican. And he was a good, righteous man. And one day he kept seeing the Blessed Mother. And he went to the bishop and told him that the Blessed Mother wanted him to build a church. And the bishop thought he was insane. So he told him no. And then he went back to his town or whatever, and she kept telling him to go back. Eventually, he came to the... I'm trying to remember how this happened. But he came like back to the bishop, and they were like, oh, what do you have in your... Oh, I know how it happened. So she put herself, like her picture on his tilma, which is like a apron or something, Mexican. And he didn't know that. And she said, pick these roses and take them to the bishop, and then he'll give you the final answer. And so he came back to the bishop, and he said, the people, like his bishop's assistants, were like, what's in your tilma? And he didn't want to tell them it was the roses. And they were like, they opened it, or he opened it or something, and the roses fell to the ground, and Our Lady was pictured on the tilma. And it's a beautiful picture. I really encourage you guys to look it up, to Google it. It is so cool. She is literally our mother. And sometimes I kind of forget that. Like, yes, I have an earthly mother, but I also have a heavenly mother. Jesus gave her to us from the cross. So, yeah, I wanted to talk about that. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the fact that if you're loving God and you're living a righteous life, and you are, doing all the good things and doing your daily duty, doing all that stuff, you're probably a saint. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like back in the days of when saints existed a lot, or were like taken down a lot, canonized and everything, it's like, we can be saints too. Like, we can literally take back this world. Like, to quote St. Catherine of Siena, she said, be who you were set to be, and you will set the world on fire. And I feel like that's such a good quote, because I don't struggle with being who I am, but I know that I can influence people. And it's interesting because with greater, and this is from Spider-Man, but with great power comes great responsibility. And it's so true. If you have graces and you have inspirations and motivations and things that you want to give out to others, you should, because they're not going to get that any other way. Like, God put that on your mind for a reason. But yeah, so how have you guys been? I know we're getting closer to Christmas, That'll be exciting. I always bribe my brother to like buy me a Christmas dress because I never have money. Never have money. But I will say there's this app called Sora, and I feel like it's called Sorja, but it's called Sora, and it's just a really interesting app. Like it's ran off AI, and you just pop in like your side view and your front view of yourself and your way you talk, and it like creates a video that you'd want to create with yourself in it. It's interesting. I did one of me running, like I took the glass slipper off Cinderella and Prince Charming went running out of the castle saying long live me. It was so funny. And then I did one of me carrying my groom out of the church to like the car. It was hilarious. But honestly, I've been feeling very positive lately. I just feel like there's so much to look forward to in life. Not to say that I'm not like anticipating when I'm going to go to heaven, you know what I mean? But it's a happy medium. But okay, so my friend, it's like my sister-in-law's friend, but she's my friend too. She got cancer and it spread in different things. And then I prayed this prayer for her the other day through Jesus, and I really believe she's healed. Like she said she doesn't even feel the cancer right now, and I just think that's so cool. Glory be to God, you know? Glory be to God. Also I have been I'm sorry, I am so tired, but I talked to God for an hour this morning, and it is just such a relief, and is so good for me to do that, like to start your day off like that. And then to the ladies, I really want to say that you are so beautiful and you do not need makeup. I'm not saying don't put makeup on. I love makeup. But like just like be yourself sometimes and don't wear makeup and see how people like flock around you, because then they see like your true beauty and everything. So cool. But yeah, just think about the couple things that we talked about. I think that I'm going to go soon. There's just not that much that I need to talk about anymore, but I hope you guys are safe and secure, and I hope you have a good night. God bless.